Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is December 16, 2014, and today is Tuesday. So looking at today's economic calendar, let's just filter. We've got some major news coming out today across the board, starting with the Euro number and German manufacturing number, NA at 10:28 this morning at 10 a.m. We have a French manufacturing PMI number coming out. Later in the day, we have Bank of England Governor Carney speaking, which is a major event. And then you have a German ZWI economic survey, which is also a major event. We also have building stats coming out in New York. And then tomorrow is a lot of news coming out of the GBP. So without much further ado, let's just look at where we're standing in some of our currencies. As we discussed, the euro is just hovering, not really moving much in the past 2 days. We didn't expect it to. As I mentioned yesterday, you see that it's just hovering between the 24.83 and the 23.70 level. But really yesterday, not really doing much, maybe 30 to 20 pips moves. So it's really nothing to really write home about. There's much to write home about the USD Japanese yen. As you can see, it's really taken a correction, and it's further going down and breaking lower. I think we're at somewhat of a support here. I would look actually to start buying here, down here, seeing if it will still maintain this level, and seeing how it might rally into the end of the year. I'm still waiting for the end of the year rally. Okay, if you've seen it before, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, usually towards the end of the year, we do rally in the currencies, and we do rally with the markets. Looking at the GBP Japanese yen, did retire a little bit, did retrace a little bit from 190 to 183, but on the whole, I still think that this thing is still very strong. So I'm looking for somewhat of a end of the year rally for the GBP Japanese yen as well. As you know, the GBP will be in play today because there's major news coming out of it today. Looking at the GBP USD, a couple of triggers here. As you can see, it's been trading in this tight range for almost a month and a half, I would say, or too close to a month. But you know, if it does break the upper limits, I would look to buy. If it breaks down on the lower limits, I would look to sell. That's really straightforward. Anywhere between this area, I would say, is a trigger to buy. Anywhere between this area is a trigger to sell. Obviously, if you put tight stop losses about here and here, you can protect yourself. Okay, but this is definitely a strategy. This is definitely looks like something it might develop into today. So I would really keep a keen eye on it to see how it progresses. So the GBP, major player today again. Keep an eye on it. Looking at the gold really sold off very sharply yesterday from 1236. We broke the 1210 level, and now we're at just below 1200. So, you know, as I mentioned before, it's really, if you look at this graph, there's no trend. A trend would be somewhere where something is going like this, okay? And that's not happening here. You have zigzags, okay? And this is very tough to trade. If you buy the bottom of the range, you sell the top of the range. Let's just erase what we're talking about. If you buy the bottom of the range right here and you sell the top of the range, you have a much greater capacity to making money. This is now on a longer time frame. This is not so easy either, because you see it broke here and it broke here. Okay, this is a different range, right? So it's much harder when you're trading something that's going sideways, even though you have multiple opportunities, but it's not trending. So it's much harder, because who's to say, like here, this would have been the top of the range. I would have thought to have gotten short here, and it worked a little bit, but then it really spiked up, and you would have been killed in this level. Now, to anticipate that this was another short, perhaps, okay, on the extremity, it is another short. But again, you know, it's not a high probability trade. It's not a trade that's in your favor. So you have to keep that in mind before entering these type of trades. So, like I said, until you see something in the gold that's really trending, that you could potentially, something like this is trending. Something like this is trending. Right here, I don't see this much of a trend. This is just, it seems like short covering, and I think we're gonna break 1100. I think next year. We may even break 1,000. Maybe we'll trace down to about 1063. That's my guess for the next year, but we'll have that on a separate webinar, and we'll discuss that. Looking at the Dow Jones before we jump into oil, Dow Jones sold off sharply yesterday. It was up 100 points, and then towards the end of the day, it sold off, and we're closer to 17,000. I guess we may not hit this 18,000 this year. We were very close, and that was my guess that where we were going to. But looking at what it looks like today, there's another maybe 5 or 6 days of trading days, unless we hit about 300 points up on a single day. I don't see us hitting 18,000. So I do stand corrected, but you never know. We might rally into 17,500 into the end of the year, and then starting the beginning of the year, we may start to rally just a little bit. It's going to be quite a wild ride, I think, next year in the Dow Jones. But again, we'll discuss that further. Now, this is a beautiful trend. This graph is oil. It's price of barrel. It's a price of oil per barrel. We're talking about $55 a barrel. Now, this is a beautiful trend. This is what I'd like to see. This is something where you can make money on a consistent basis and see that it's continually falling apart, and be short it. See after it's consolidated. Here, let's highlight some areas where it's consolidated. I would say this is a area that it's consolidated. Further consolidation. You see, there's a down move, doesn't break higher, and then a sharp down move, and then continuously breaking down. So looking at this graph, I think we said that the next support level is at $40, $40 a barrel, $50 a barrel, which is unprecedented for this time of the year, and we've been saying that for quite a while. We're looking at a weekly chart here, and it takes us all the way back to 2014. It takes us back to 2007, and this thing has really been breaking down quite nicely over the past year. So keep this in mind. It is continuously breaking down. It might rally into the end of the year. Might see a sharp short covering for it, but keep in mind that it is still being broken down. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you. Bye.